Some of you might know us already. We've been on all the major programs, welfare, food stamps, Social Security. So I got a friend in McAllen. He's a cop, a police officer. And he told me last November, big influx of winter Texans coming down from up north, he had to pull over a car that was going too slow. Well, here's a little winter Texan lady driving the car. She's got 3 passengers in the car. The passengers are scared to death. And the policeman said, "Ma'am, I stopped you because you were going too slow." And she said, "Officer, I always go the exact speed limit. I just passed a sign that said 14. I was going 14 miles an hour." And he said, "Ma'am, that's the highway number. You go faster than that through here." Well, okay. But he noticed her friends were still scared. So he says, "Ma'am, tell your friends they're not in trouble." And she said, "Don't pay any attention to them. We just got off of Highway 281. Whoa! Listen, I'm going to tell you this story using cards, rhyme, and wit. I composed it myself, and that's no shock. This is the story of 2 gals and 1 guy, a soap opera of sorts. Now let's find out why. The first 2 of these were husband and wife, a king and his queen for most of their life. He called her Edith, she called him Stan. Yes, she was his queen, and Stan was her man. Now the king, he could smile, but the queen, she could not. Was a child they wanted, but could not be got. Now the king was quite virile, potent, well-made. 'Twas the queen who was sterile, you see, she is spayed. It gets worse. It does, yes. The king yearned for a son to carry on his name, and soon it was Edith he started to blame. The fighting, the yelling, Edith could take it no more. She called Stan a bum and his mistress a horrible person. Oh, yes, she knew about Kate, a pretty young lass with a face like a queen and a firm, shapely nose. 'Twas Kate the king lusted for, but still loved his queen. 'Twas a threesome they became with the king in between. The King Stan Trio, they came to be known. Told you it got worse. But a king with 2 queens would be rocking the throne. You see, lust and greed don't mix well with fate. And soon, it was Edith who lusted for Kate. It's the 90s, what can I tell you? The 2 queens in love soon sent Stan away. But the king would return. He wanted to play. They refused him quickly, sent him outside the castle walls, and should he return, they would cut off his bald head. But Stan was persistent. He wanted to stay, and so he returned while Kate was away. A fight soon broke out. Edith screamed, yelled, and hissed, not to mention King Stan. Oh boy, was he pretty upset. Well, Kate would return, much to Edith's delight. But where was King Stan? He was nowhere in sight. So we're left with 2 queens, rather happy, quite gay. But not so King Stan, he had not had his way. Now what is the moral, the lesson we learn from Stan, Kate, and Edith and the tables they turn? Well, I told it to Stan, I'll tell it to you. You can't have your Kate and Edith too.